you for your patience, ma'am. We can start the session.
Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the last session of Day 2 of International Conference. It's a great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today, Ms. Gomati Sitaraman. Ms. Gomati is the founder of Arogya Yatra. She is a health advocate, personal wellness coach, and motivator. She is a certified public accountant from US, has completed her general management program from IIM Ahmedabad, India, and has been part of a corporate world for more than 15 years, with organizations such as Durgas and Schlumberger before embarking on the journey of entrepreneurship in the field of education and health and wellness. She has been living in Dubai over the last 24 years and is very connected to India and its culture. Ms. Gomati is a yoga teacher, nutritionist, personal health and wellness coach, certified medical tourism facilitator, and is certified from Stanford and Harvard on different nutrition topics such as food and health and healthy eating. She is a lifelong learner and is currently doing her diploma in yoga psychology from the Yoga Institute in Mumbai. Her passion is to help individuals with her programs on nutrition and yoga and meditation, and corporates with her workplace wellness programs 15 minutes Arogya and 5 minutes Dhyan and yoga retreats to help all lead a healthy and sustainable lifestyle. She is into medical tourism and helps individuals get medical treatment and Ayurveda treatments in India and UAE. She believes that eat right, breathe well, stay fit. We welcome you, ma'am. So without further ado, I'll hand over the session to her. Over to you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you're on mute, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. First, I'd like to thank the college for inviting me for this international session, which I'm doing live, which I'm doing online. I would have loved to be and meet people in person because I'm a people's person. I love connecting and interacting with people. I'm genuinely thankful for the opportunity and the honor given to me to conduct this session, especially on Women's Day, which talks about gender bias, which is one of our, I think, most favorite topics with a lot of people when we've lived with a lot of biases which we've grown up with, right? So, good afternoon. Like she said, I'm Gomti Sitaraman. I'm here in Dubai it's been 24 years that I've moved here. I have two beautiful daughters, and one of them is currently in India and one is in France. And a lot of women have played an important role in my life. And so I would like to start off the session. Okay, I hope I can do a share screen here. Uh, what can I? Do I
Ma'am,
have
can you
access to
see?
the screen?
Yes, ma'am, you can. You can see three dots at the corner of the screen, ma'am.
Yeah.
Kindly press that and press share screen.
Settings. I can't see share screen.
It's,
Oh, here, this one. No, this is
yeah.
activities.
Can you see in call messages, share screen? Is it available? Priya, kindly
Ma'am,
help her
may
out.
I?
Yeah, sure,
Ma'am, there's
please.
a hand option that is visible on the
Yeah, I
screen.
can see a hand
And
option.
next to it, there's a box with an arrow inside. That's it for presentation, ma'am.
It says your entire screen, but I've opened up my presentation, so why can't I see it? Okay. I can only see our screen here. So if you notice, this is all I can share. I can share the screen. I'm not able to open up my PowerPoint, which I've kept ready for viewing. Can you see my presentation now?
No, ma'am. Click on that screen, the small box that you can see now, and press share.
So click here, stop presenting. I'm clicking on that only. I'm clicking on the box.
Does it say a
A
window?
window. Okay, maybe I should say a window.
Yes, ma'am, that's one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So is it clear now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Great. Okay. I hope my screen is visible to all. Yes. So yes. So I've been given a very fabulous and a very interesting topic, which is gender bias in business. And like I said, we all have a lot of women in our roles, in our lives, right? Today being Women's Day, we all have women who have played a lot of important roles in our lives. So I would like you all to first, at the onset, start off by writing down 3 names of women who have made an impact in your life. Names of any 3 women who have made a deep impact in your life. Can you all do that? I'll give you all the next 10 seconds. Can you write it down? And then I will share my screen. Why isn't it going to the next one? How do I remove screens? Oh, I have to go there to my PPT and do it. Okay. Can you see it? Did you write the name of 3 people who are inspiring you or who have inspired you? I hope you have, because there is no way I can get an acknowledgement. So these are the 3 people who have inspired me, since we are talking about Women's Day today. One is my mother. She's been my source of inspiration and my source of positive energy. I have with me my closest friend who had to go through a lot of hardships, biasness. That's the reason why she's here, because she is working in a very senior position in an organization which is completely a man's world, and she is leading the team there. So that's the reason why I have her there with me. And obviously everybody knows who's the third person there on the screen. She is our ex-External Affairs Minister, Sushma Swaraj ji. If you don't know about Sushma Swaraj ji, she has left a legacy behind. So even after she is not in power, people still love her for the kind of work she did, not just for the people who were in her government, but for across parties. And if you recall her speeches or recall the actions she's done, it's been completely selfless to the work she was allotted to do. And that is the kind of legacy I would like to leave behind, where people say, oh, she was someone who was always helpful, whom we could always approach to at the time we wanted to. And that is what I want to do. So these are the 3 people whom I feel inspire me. Moving on. So this is what actually I thought it was going to be an interactive session. So the current, can you see it? The next screen. Why isn't the screen moving? You know what, forget it. The screen sharing doesn't seem to be working. I'll stop sharing it and I'll just talk, because I would have really liked to present it. I'll just stop and you all can see. So I just wanted to check out, do you all know how long, since we are talking about gender bias, I wanted to start by saying, when I was working in a corporate world, and during Women's Day, we were given absolutely amazing things like chocolates. We were given bouquets for our, to honor us on our Women's Day. And we felt very good, we felt very special. But the question I would like to ask ourselves is it okay that we are recognized for what we do only on that one particular day? On one day saying, oh, it's Women's Day today, so okay, so you can do this, you can do that, you get a box of chocolates, you feel good. No, we should be valued much more, for the kind of work we do. One day isn't enough. But the question for me is, do we value ourselves? Do we place importance to ourselves? Now I'd like to ask, I want to ask a question to a lot of people here. Say, when you have a choice between doing something for yourself, let's say taking care of yourself, and let's say you have to go out to help others, or give priority to someone else, what do you do? Like, for example, to give you a very simple example, if I want to, let's say, sit down and read a book and have a cup of coffee, but sometimes, let's say, my husband or my children come and say, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm like, why can't you make it? It's there. No, 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 you come and serve it to me. And so I need to drop everything off, go serve, take care. I'm not saying it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's nice, it's great what we're doing. But are we doing everything at the cost of others without taking care of ourselves? That's my point. Because we also need to stand up for ourselves, we also need to value ourselves. That point is equally very important. Self care, I mean, I believe that we all need to, when I say take care of ourselves, I believe we also need to learn the terminology of self care. And self care does not mean we are selfish. Self-care is also taking care of ourselves in every possible way, because this conference is all about mental health. We need to be strong physically and mentally. And unless until we are strong physically and mentally, we are not very well equipped to take care of others. Am I right? So we ourselves need to be strong, we ourselves need to be good. And in that case, going with that, I would like to ask you guys, do you even have an idea for how long gender bias has been existing? So I come from a family where my brothers are very highly professionally educated, and in a family, Tamilian family like mine, education is given a lot of importance. But for some reason, I was not professionally educated. I never asked my parents why, but I didn't bother. My parents didn't bother, but both my brothers were professionally educated. It was only later, over a period of time, I realized, why am I not professionally educated? I was a topper in a lot of my subjects. I was a topper in grade 12 in my board exams in one of my subjects. But still, it never occurred to me that I should be professionally qualified. So do I blame my parents for it? No. Did they do it out of a bias? I don't know. But they ensured that my brothers had a professional qualification. But they never thought about me being professionally qualified. I don't blame them because they come from a different era. But we current in this era, what could I do? After a point of time, what did I do? I equipped myself. I went down to the US. I did my qualification as a CPA. Though I started my career much later in my life than what people would have had they qualified themselves when they should have. What stopped me from telling my parents that I need to study? Apart from gender bias being there around, our society has also made it very easy for us to accept the gender bias. We think that gender bias is okay. Isn't that why I accepted it? And later on, when I moved to Dubai and when I saw people, I'm like, I can do this, but why am I not given that position? Because I don't have that qualification tag with me. So I went to the US to get my qualification tag, and then I was given a better position than him. So it all made me realize that sometimes, why didn't I ask? What stopped me from asking? My parents would not have told me that you can't study. I didn't bother. I got married. I had 2 children. I was very happy. We are given to believe. I'm not saying it's wrong. Be happy. I'm very happily married with 2 wonderful children. But I love creating a space for myself, for my identity. And I need to do that. Right? For example, if you guys know, uh, for education for women was started. I come from a place called Pune. I'm born and brought up in Pune. Even though I'm a Tamilian, I'm born and brought up in Pune. The university there is called Savitri Bai Phule University. She was the wife of Savitri of Mahatma Phule, who was who was the guy who was pushing for women's children's education, girls' education. And she was the lady who founded the first girls' school at that time, when the biases were really high. There were people even at those times trying to fight against society to say, we need to get over this bias. So bias has been there in a lot of places, like, for example, in a lot of homes, when there is less money, the son is educated, not the daughter. We've seen those cases. But people are changing, people are moving forward, and that is what we need to do. And we have seen it in various sectors, we have seen it in various aspects of life. So, when it comes down to business, genuinely, for a person to start a business, there are a lot of hurdles, right? When you want to start a business, you need to first have a concept. Okay, what am I going to do a business in? Is it a red ocean? That is this something which everyone is doing, which I'm going to get into? Or am I coming up with something new? Do I have the funds to take care of it? Do I have the expertise to take care of it? Do I have the, let's say, the accounting knowledge, the financial knowledge, the strategy behind it? Let's assume if I'm into a capital intensive business, do I have the space? Do I have the people supporting me? There are a lot of things in business, licenses, government rules, regulations. But for a woman to come into business, apart from these challenges which are already there, what are the other challenges we face? Let's assume you're working and you quit your job to start your business. Your husband is doing well. There could be a high possibility they say, why do you want to do it? Your husband is earning well, right? Sit at home and relax. Why do you want to do business? It is not the matter of somebody else earning for you. Financial independence is something which I am well equipped, I am well educated. If the husband is equally well educated and is earning, then I think I do also have the right to go out there and use my expertise and implement my expertise in my business. Right? So when a man goes out for business, he's encouraged. But so I'm not saying every time the woman is discouraged, but she has to fight even the other battles apart from the regular business battles. Because even when I went into business, I had a supportive husband, but still I had to get up and cook. I had to ensure my children were going to school on time. I had to ensure that whatever had to be taken care of them was done. And then I had to take care of my business, which is not the case with the others who are doing it, the men who are doing it. So what is it that we can do? What is it that we are not aware of or we are not speaking about in the right way? If you notice, there are a lot of women entrepreneurs in the world. But what is the percentage ratio? Is the percentage ratio equal? I don't think so, right? If, for example, we know a lot of, let's say in India, if we talk about men entrepreneurs, I think we'll get a lot of names. But when we talk about women entrepreneurs, we do get names, but we have to think about it. Yes? And what are the fields, if you notice, women when they go into profession or business, what are the major fields you see them picking up into? Teaching, nursing, maybe becoming doctors. If you guys remember the story of Sudha Murthy, you know, I hope we all know who Sudha Murthy is. She's the wife of Mr. Narayan Murthy of Infosys. Absolutely, Gayatri. Sudha Murthy, she's an engineer. And when she applied for Tata, you know, there was an ad which came up in the paper which said, looking for qualified engineers, women don't apply, or something to that effect. And she was very annoyed. She wrote directly to GRD Tata saying, why is this bias there? Why can't I apply? I'm a qualified person. I can apply. And then she applied for the position and she got it. She was the first woman engineer there in telco. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we need to get up and stand if we want something. We will see biasness there. For example, we see a lot of, I am in the field of health nutrition. And let me tell you, in my field, currently I don't see any bias. Okay, I don't see any bias because maybe my field is such, or maybe the peers I'm working as such, but currently in my business industry, I don't find any bias. I'm completely comfortable. But does that mean bias doesn't exist? It does, right? It does in a lot of ways. So when we talk about, are we restricting the women to limited industries? You find very few women in, let's say, pharmaceuticals, in technology, aviation. You know, if you look around, you find people in skincare. You have remember Shehnaz Hussain with her skincare products. She was extremely famous with Ayurvedic skincare products. And we have a lot of other people, but their fields were all limited to such fields, teaching. But we are capable of getting into all fields. If you remember the mission to Mars, who were the scientists? They were all women. They broke the bias, right? And they ensured they were there. They were the ones, they were also there, they were a part of the huge team and it was led by a woman. So that feels great for us. Currently, if you notice in India, 14% of the women are only entrepreneurs. And that too, they are entrepreneurs where they are self-financed. So there is a crunk somewhere where women are not able to get so much of funding, or that's what the report or the survey says, that women are not getting as much as funding as the men. But the trends are changing. They are changing. I think it will take time, and we hope that it starts changing much faster. But you know what is the interesting thing is? Women-controlled enterprises in India alone have a workforce of about 27 million working with them. And I think that itself is a very big talking number. 27 million people because of women empowerment, or because of women enterprises, or because of women taking the stand that we will do this, is being done. So I think that's extreme. That's a, I won't say it's a gigantic number, but it's a good number. It's a very big number. And we hope we can increase that. That should be what we should be looking at. Have you people heard of the term called unicorn in business? Unicorn is a startup business which has a turnover of 1 billion. That's how it is. So in India, there are close to 136 unicorns. Okay, they have qualified for this term called the Unicorn Club, out of which only 5 of the unicorns are women, which is less than 5%. Right? So there's a huge gap. There is a lot we can do. When you're Nyaka, one of the Nyaka founders, she's a part of the 5 women in the unicorn. But you know, there is a scope for us. We have a lot to catch up to, right? And we need to see how we can bridge the gap. I remember this, since I had already mentioned Sushma Swaraj as someone who I really relate to. You know, she had a quote on gender equality which said, women should not only be encouraged to study home science and hone their culinary skills, while women should also be motivated to take up physical education, especially martial arts, and try and banish any kind of gender bias. You know, in the government, she was one of the top, like if you remember, the core, when she was the Ministry for External Affairs, we had Nirmala Sitharaman ji as the defense. So there were 2 women in the core cabinet at that point of time, which is a source of pride. If you see a lot of photographs of external ministers, and you'll see photographs, you'll see Sushma Swaraj ji standing there tall amongst all the men there. And it's a matter of pride to see, and that makes us feel that we can achieve it. It can be done. And that brings me to another quote which I think is very, very interesting. It says that, it is by Gail Blank, who's an author, who says, don't just stand for the success of other women, insist upon it. And when they say that, it brings me to a very interesting story during President Obama's period in the White House. So during his first term, he had a lot of men, you know, as his people who were advising him and everything. And whenever the woman would try and say something, either they were ignored or they couldn't be heard. So the women came together and they decided to do something called, I forgot the word, how could I forget it? What was the word they said? Let me just think. Give me 1 second to think. I can't seem to think. I think that's called affirmation, not affirmation. Acclimatization or something like that. I'm so sorry, I forgot the word. But the thing is, what they did is, the moment one of the women said something, all the other women would come together and say, yes, yes, yes. And they would keep repeating it. Till the men actually started hearing it and could not take credit for it. Get it? So when the women got together and did this, during the second term, you could see a change where a lot of women were included into the advisory. So when women power can get together, they can do a lot. They can change. They can bring about a change. It is up to us to see how well we can do it. And I'm really feeling very bad that I can't remember the word. I really wish, yes, it's called amplification. You're amplifying the message. So when I say it and you repeat it, you're amplifying my message. So that is what the women together at the Obama's team did. And they spoke about it and ensured that the word got out. And the women took the credit and nobody else could take the credit because it's extremely important that we get credit for what we are doing right. Am I correct? I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me on this part. So what happens when there is a lot of gender bias? Because we like I said, we are contributing to 27 million of the people working with us. What happens if we start feeling disappointed, we start feeling upset over it and start leaving it? It's detrimental to us. We are not going to grow, right? It's no use trying to blame somebody else about it. We may have issues, it may affect us mentally, it may affect us that I'm not being recognized. Let's stand up and talk about it. Let's stand up and say, guys, this is not right. What you are doing is not fair. Let the women get together as a woman power to see what can be done, how can you do it, and how can we ensure that this is taken up to the next level. Because I remember a beautiful quote by Sheryl Sandberg. Sheryl Sandberg heads in Facebook. I'm sure you all know her. She says that women believe it is because of their own internal barriers that makes them hesitant to pursue positions of power and self-doubt, which make them feel like they are not good enough. These issues have been brought by society rather than in reality. So in other words, women are not less ambitious or less capable than men, but they have been grown up in a world which emphasizes being pretty and agreeable rather than intelligent and successful. How many of you agree with me here? I do. I agree with the statement completely. Because we've been constantly taught, oh, adjust, oh, manage, do this. We've not been taught that you also have your right. If let's assume you finished your master's and the other guy's finished his master's, in what way are you not, if not superior, in what way are you not par with someone else? But we are being taught, let go, it's okay, doesn't matter, it's okay. I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you want it, if you want to be at home, take care of family and just do that, it's perfectly fine. But it has to be your choice. There are highly successful people who, after doing their graduation, post-graduation, are very happy mothers. They do a lot with their children, which is fantastic. But it has to be your choice. It should not be somebody else's choice on you. We see gender bias in every sphere of life. Am I right? Even when we go to jobs, we stand, like even in the government, that is why sometimes they have a reservation, 33% reservation. Why do they have that? To encourage, so that that's all the men can, and let the women come there. Let them fill those seats and let their voices also be heard. But at the same time, what is it that we can do? We need to speak out. We need to get up fearlessly and say our points. If we are going to say that it doesn't matter, forget it and stay back, it will ultimately not matter. It will not matter to them. Right? So, it is extremely, I think, key. It is very key that not only we realize what needs to be done, but it is also, we also have to bring the consciousness in our mind somewhere that nobody else in the world is going to get up and talk for you. You women, we women have to get ourselves together, promote each other, encourage each other. If you are good at, let's say, you're good at the talking skills, you're very good at communication, somebody's very good at writing, you help her communicate, she helps you write. That way we push each other. And when I do my business with Arogya Yatra, I am constantly collaborating with a lot of women. I have a lot of yoga teachers who are there working with me. And most of my yoga teachers are teachers who are working from home. So they get a platform of flexible working hours. But at the same time, they are using up all the talent they have. Do we feel that, do we have less knowledge than them? No, I don't think so. Our parents have given us the same amount of education in the same colleges sometimes they attend, right? We are also going to the same universities that others do. So there is no way we are, I would would say, inferior to anyone. We are at par. Sometimes we are even superior. We go through childbirth, right? Believe me, I mean, people who've gone through, the teachers will agree with me, not you girls right now. We go through a lot of trauma and still we come out smiling. And we move on with life. We accept everything, but we don't stand up for ourselves. So, I would say we really need to get up and say, we need to stand up, we need to do things the way we want. If we want to say that I would like to work, I would like to be in business, in my space, when I talk to people, people listen to me. It all depends on how I communicate. Like I said, currently in my space where I am, I don't see bias. Because maybe because of the field I chose to be in, I don't know. But growing through, I have seen it. And I'm sure there are other fields, other businesses which are completely men dominated. And there I'm sure there could be a lot of bias. But let that bias not pull you down. Let that bias not stop you. You need to be motivated enough to say, I can do it. If you remember Kalpana Chawla, I think was one of the few women who went up to space, right? She didn't wait. She decided she wanted to do it. She did it. Again, Sunita, who was an astronaut. Marie Kom, who was the boxer. She, I think, came back to boxing with 2 children, right? She didn't allow it to stop. There can be circumstances sometimes. Sometimes your environment can be extremely encouraging and saying, yay, go for it. But sometimes it may not. But we need to have the willpower. And that's why they always say we should have a lot of women friends. I think there's a very beautiful story which goes that the mother, when the daughter is getting married, tells the daughter, initially you'll be very busy with your husband, then with your spouses, then with your children, but never lose touch with your girlfriends from school. Because you will need them for your support, for your mental strength. And I totally believe it. I have some of my childhood friends who are very close to me. I have some of my very close friends who are all girls. And we are very, we challenge each other. They are very open to tell us, this is wrong with you, you need to correct it. Or this is where you're strong, go ahead and do it. So, we as women together can come and empower each other. We need not wait for others to do it for us. We can speak up for ourselves. If you think there is an issue, you think there is a problem, you need to open up, you need to get up, you need to stand up and say, hey, let's do it. This is not happening for you, let's do it. We can. And that's how we will gain our strength, we will gain something together. Right? With so much about gender bias, I would like to also highlight, since this is all about mental health, this entire 2-day program is all about mental health, and we're talking about so many other things. There are a few things which I would like to share with women. Actually, it's not with women, it's with men, it's with everyone in general. That a few things which they can do to take care of themselves on an everyday basis. Try and take out time for all these few actions on an everyday basis. 1. Have at least 5 to 10 minutes of your me time. Of your me time, sitting, either enjoying nature, having a cup of tea, being with your thoughts. For me, the best way to be with my thoughts is running. I love running. So I don't listen to music. I wear my shoes and I go run. I run for 2, 3, 4 kilometers depending on the day. And I come back completely energized. You could pick up whatever suits you. One of the person I know just switches on the music and dances only for herself. She gets a lot of energy for herself doing that. Pick up something for yourself and do it. It is very important for us to have some hobby. Being at this age where we are in India, I think you can just learn so much. There is just so much of potential to learn. Learning is something you should never stop. I'm a lifelong learner. So I know the initial times when I was supposed to learn, I didn't. I got married. But then after then, when I started learning from 2004, believe me, I've been constantly learning. Every 2 years, I pick up a new course. I study. Over the last 5 years, I must have done about 6 to 7 different courses. in completely different fields. Pick up something, pick up a hobby. I want to learn to play the flute. I already got the flute with me, but I still haven't started learning. But I will. I love to do it. I want to learn swimming. I'm been practicing swimming. I want to learn that. Pick up anything you like. Have your friends. Connect with them. Talk to them. It is very important that we constantly encourage each other. We talk to our friends. Take out time for your exercise. You may be thin, you may be fit, but that doesn't, you just because you're thin doesn't mean you're fit. Fitness and being thin are two different things. So it is very important because when you exercise, the positive energy which you get because of the release of some hormones is fabulous. That makes your face glow, let me tell you. It makes you feel good when you do some nice deep breathing. Pick up any exercise you like. It could be squash, badminton, cricket. The Indian cricket team is doing so well, they just won a match. Because in India, we used to only watch matches of the men, right? We only know the cricket, we only know Virat Kohli and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But we should also know Mithila Raj and Smriti Mandana from the women, right? So, women are making their mark and they can make their mark. It's up to us to come together and I'm sure we can do it. Like I said, a few things. Go out in the sun, enjoy the sun every day. I know in Chennai, sun is there in plenty, but allow it to hit you because that's the best source of vitamin D for you, right? You instead of taking a medicine, vitamin D is freely available. Let's take it, and not only gives you vitamin D, it gives you a lot of positive energy.
Sam is there if you're getting Priya. I believe they have some internet issues. Yeah, we'll wait. Ma'am. Ma'am will join now. Student, why don't you switch on your camera? I'll just take a screenshot, then you can leave. Okay, at least I want two people to switch on your camera so that I'll take a screenshot. Just for 30 seconds or 20 seconds. Once ma'am join, please switch on your camera. Just take only one screenshot. Okay. Yes,
I'm so sorry, guys. It got cut off in the last few minutes. I was just ending my session. So I was just saying, like I was saying, just be mindful. Can you hear me? Be mindful of a few practices like exercising regularly, taking care of yourself, go out in the sun, be with your friends, develop some hobbies, be together as women for each other, and I'm sure we can do better than what we are. We can do better than what we think we are. And with that, I would like to say, which is my favorite quote always, eat right, breathe well, and stay fit. Namaste, and thank you so much.
thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful presentation. Would you like to gain some questions? Are you open to questions?
Yeah, sure.
Participants, if you have any questions, please put in the chat box. You can also switch on your camera and you can unmute and ask a question. Kindly switch on your camera, children. All of you switch on your camera. Next Potpuri. Switch on your camera, children. Jasima, Jyotilakshmi, Dilshad, Maitri, please switch on your camera. Malika, Pooja, Hivanti, can you switch on your camera for a second? Good. Few students have switched on your camera. Yes, you can raise a question to ma'am. Ma'am is ready to answer you. Fast, children, fast.
Ma'am, I have a ma'am. We see a lot of people
Sure.
facing. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, we see a lot of people who are body shamed, especially women. There's some gender bias over there as well, and people who face fat shaming, they usually go on diets, but they think that diets means like it's limiting their food intake or starving themselves. Ma'am, as a nutritionist, can you tell me like what is actually a diet and what they could actually go about it if they want to weight loss?
Okay, I love that question. Thank you so much. Uh, so body shaming happens very often. I was also superbly obese at one point of time. Okay, so when I decided I wanted to lose weight, I did lot of things. You know, we have this cabbage diet and this diet and that diet. When you do that, all these fat diets, which is like the key to any of these fat diets, when you do it, you obviously will lose weight for some time, but you'll put on twice as much as back. The best way to lose weight is to eat your regular food. So when in a diet, when we give I never call it a diet, I always call it a nutrition plan. Because the problem is we don't eat nutritious food. We don't eat the right food, the right time, the right quantity. That's it. Especially South Indian food is genuinely very simple. We don't use too much oil. Of course, we do have our fried stuff, but on a regular basis, we have our porridge and everything. We don't eat too much of oil. But the thing is, it's necessary we need to understand, are we taking the right carbs? Are we taking the right protein? The right, fats. You can't go off one. We've all learnt in biology, right, as children, a balanced meal has carbs, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins. That is exactly what should be there in your plate. So when you want to lose weight in a sustainable manner. A sustainable manner is slow and steady, so that when you finish losing your weight and you learn to maintain it, you will never gain that weight back. But if you want to do it as a quick fix Maggie, then the weight is bound to come back. So yes, body shaming happens, I understand. Just be brave. The thing is, for everything, be it a man or woman, body shaming is, take pride in yourself. So the best important thing is learn to be confident about yourself. The moment you are, whether you're fat or you're thin, don't say, yeah, yeah, I know I'm fat, forget it. Don't say that. They say, don't worry, I'll take care of myself. I know what I need to do. If you have anything nice to give me an advice, please do. Otherwise, I'll look it up. Don't let it affect you mentally. Because sometimes that can also lead to binge eating, because because we tend to binge eat when we are depressed or when we are upset. Right? So it's up to us to bring in that resilience in ourselves. As women, we are extremely strong mentally. So we need to ensure we keep in that resilience with us. And that will help us fight. And again, can I tell you another thing? Like I was saying, it is going to be women who's going to support women. If a woman calls for help and the others don't respond, then it's the woman to blame. And when it happens to you, you're going to feel sad about it. Not maybe in body shaming, but in something else. So be supportive. Be supportive for the right things, and that will help you. Yeah? I hope I've answered your question, Priya.
Yes, ma'am, amazingly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. It's been nice coming here. Thank you for the opportunity, Gayatri. And thank you to Alima for the opportunity. Thank you, Priya, for being my friend and being online. I just have a word for you, for the other girls. Despite so many requests, it would have been really nice had you put on your videos. This is what I was talking about, the small, short strength of women. you know, because it's always nice when a person is talking and he can see somebody rather than talking to just close screens. It just feels good. It encourages the person who's talking, it encourages and motivates the person who's here, right? So just remember that next time. Yeah, even when your friend is giving a talk, and let's assume you're giving a talk, and all screens are blind. You don't even know whether they're listening to you or not, right? It's a very small aspect. Just support starts right from the ground. Don't forget the big support. Support from the build the base of support right from the ground, so that when the ground is strong, nothing can move up, right? That's how we have our trees. The roots are strong. Try and make them strong there. Okay? Thank you so much, girls. Pleasure talking all to you. I hope you all enjoyed my session. I hope it was useful. I hope you all learned something. Thank you so very much. Namaste.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So let us end the session with a vote of gratitude. I first of all thank the Lord Almighty for making this day a grand success. I would then thank our guest speaker, Ms. Gomati Sitaraman, for her insightful presentation on gender bias in business. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presence and for
Thank
clarifying our
you.
doubts. I would then like to extend my gratitude to the principal, Dr. S. Sridevi, the vice principal, Dr. R. Meenakshi, the head of the department, Mrs. Alima Zara, and all our faculty members who have helped us, and our volunteers without whom this day wouldn't have been possible. I finally thank our beloved audience for their presence. Thank you all.
Gomati ma'am, thank you ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful session ma'am. You gave us an amazing explanation on women's power. Your words, when women are united, they can reach the sky. Women has to remove inferiority complexes so that they can keep shining, or really inspiring ma'am. And
Thank you very
and
much.
some more words, women should have caring and supporting friends. So this is a very important message that all girls require right now. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
ma'am.
much. Thank you. I'm
Thank you,
really
ma'am.
glad
Thank
to have
you.
added value. Thank you so much. Bye, Priya. Thank you for being my support and for taking care of me. Thank you so much, Gayatri.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much. Bye bye.